So I've put this video together because I want to talk about high cadence. Now, we're led to believe that the more arm strokes that you do, the faster you're going to be. In other words, I put more effort in, I must get a better output. Well, not in swimming. Swimming is to do with efficiency, it's to do with timing, drag. There's a lot of elements that are involved in swimming. And just because you do a lot of arm strokes doesn't mean you're going to be fast. Are you sinking at the back end? Are you losing energy because you're kicking too much and not getting that benefit? Are you moving your head around so you're zigzagging? These are all the things that I talk about in Ocean Walk of Vim in my online coaching series. Because what I teach you there is how to rotate 90 degrees one side and 90 degrees other, getting the maximum momentum and therefore glide. And as a result of that, I don't have to do lots of arm strokes. Now, I used to swim 72, 73 strokes a minute. I'm now 43 strokes a minute. That's 1,800 less an hour, which is really important when you want to swim longer and save energy for triathlon, Ironman, and open water swimming. So it really isn't true that you do lots of arm strokes and get a better result. Now, what you can see here is I'm getting up to a 2-meter glide. So I'm getting a lot of momentum and there's not a lot of effort going into this compared to how I used to swim, which was a lot more strokes, as I say. And why did I have to do a lot more strokes? Because I didn't rotate. I was very flat. My eyes were forward. And when my eyes were forward, my arm was high. And when my arm was high, my catch was so high that when I tried to get my wrist around the water for over the barrel that you might have heard, trying to get that, it really destroyed my shoulder, which is why I had 3 operations on my shoulder and advised to give up by my surgeon. What ended up happening, swimming that way, is I ended up pushing water down, my chest went up and my hips dropped, making me more inefficient and actually more energy. So what I now do is I look down when I swim. So head's the heaviest part of the body. That helps the hip come up. And also when I'm looking down, it also helps me to keep a very still head and get that alignment. So I can go 90 degrees on my side one way, 90 degrees on my side the other, getting the maximum momentum and therefore glide, like I say. Now, most people don't teach more than about 30, 40 degrees rotation. And that's because in the conventional way of swimming, which is more flat, with limited rotation, which means less momentum and less glide. And if you don't rotate at all, you're relying purely on arm strokes. How many arm strokes can you do and how powerful can you pull? And remember, if you're pulling yourself flat, you're pulling the maximum amount of body mass through the water. So the bigger you are, the heavier you'll feel. And if you look forward and your arms are higher, you're likely to sink more at the back end, and then it's going to be a struggle to get the catch, which is why a lot of people get shoulder problems trying to get this high catch, which is why they wear paddles and other things to help them pull that water back. If you are looking down and your arm is lower and you're rotating 90 degrees on the side one way and 90 degrees on the side the other, you will get the biggest glide possible, and that will mean you'll save a lot of strokes and therefore a lot of energy and effort. And if you want to swim further, that's got to be the way to be. What you can see here in this video is I'm maximizing each glide, and therefore I'm not wasting unnecessary energy. My head is slightly submerged. I'm cutting through the water. There's not a lot of splash. My arm is deeper, 40, 45 degrees, in order to pull water back, so I don't have a bad shoulder in order to do it, because the only way you go forward is pulling water back, as we know, not pushing it down. If I'm flat, my shoulder's lower, my arm's higher, then I'm going to be swimming uphill. Here, I'm imagining swimming downhill, and by swimming downhill, that gets my hip up higher. Now, a number of benefits you may have heard me say before. By being on the side, you've got a higher shoulder out the water. That also means I can sweep around the side, which is less effort. I'm not having to zip up or lift my arm overhead, which can cause injury, and it's more effort again. So I'm cutting side to side. What I do is I use a kick in order to thrust me from one side to the other. But as I say, I keep a still head. And this is what you've got to learn. A still head is absolutely crucial. They don't really teach it in swimming. the importance of a neutral head looking down. Now, your question might be, well, if you're looking down, how can I see where I'm going? Well, you sight separately. You shouldn't be looking forward the whole time when you swim just because you want to look 2 meters in front of you, because it will come at a price. Your body will want to sink, which is why there's floats between your legs, wetsuits to help bring the hips up. All those things are invented because people are swimming more upwards. What you want to do is be swimming more downwards to get that natural elevation of the hips and that natural elevation of the shoulder, which helps you in efficiency and less effort. And then what you can do is start to slide from side to side. And remember, when you pull on your side, you're more efficient, so there's less drag. When you're pulling flat, you're as big as you possibly can be, so you're going to feel heavier. So being on your side makes you feel lighter and therefore is less effort. The great thing about this stroke is it doesn't matter your height, it doesn't matter your weight, it doesn't matter your age. Everybody can learn this, and you can come and see me in person at the Ocean Walker Academy in the UK in Lincolnshire, or you can learn it online with Ocean Walker Vimeo or Skype one-to-one, or even my swim camps that I do around the world. So there are options for you to learn this. And I really, really suggest you take a look at this, because once you learn the mechanics, you'll never look back. It just feels ridiculously easy compared to what it did before. Cutting through the water, less splash, more efficient. What's there not to like about this way of swimming? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave you with just a minute of just watching this, visualizing how I'm swimming, cutting through the water with my feet going side to side like a pendulum. I use a kick in between, which thrusts me forward, gives me that big glide. My head's looking down, my arms at 45 degrees. I've got a sweeping motion so I don't do extra effort and I protect my shoulder. And that is absolutely the way to save energy and be as fast and as efficient as you possibly can. The conventional way of being flat with high cadence, burning energy, is not the way to go. You want to use your hips like you would do in other sports like golf, tennis, stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking, boxing. All of them use the hips, shot put, discus. So we're using the same principle of what we do on land in the water to power the movement and to save energy. So I hope you found this video useful. If you want to check out my website, it's oceanwalkeruk.com, or you can contact us on oceanwalkeruk@gmail.com if you want to email us for any sessions or any questions that you might have.